Well, I thought I would try to do a quick garden tour here. I'd like to be an update, but since it's the first video, it's not really an update. Of course, now all these cars are going by. There wasn't a car around for the last half hour. But in these fabric pots over here, have some kale, lettuce, parsley, and maybe one or two other things that I can't remember, but I was surprised the seeds sprouted at all, and then they were in very small pots for way longer than they should have been, so I'm just happy they're growing. Same deal with these. I didn't expect any of these seeds to sprout, but this is some melons and some squash, and they don't get near enough sun here, but it's the only place I could head to plant them. Plus I needed something that would grow underneath this giant black walnut tree. So we'll see what they do. It's better than nothing. These big 30-gallon plastic pots here have some extra, mostly mystery peppers and some extra tomatoes in them. And I kind of crowded them up. I'd like to have the space to do one plant in each pot and see just how big I can get them, but that wasn't for this year. And then we will go around here. Same deal with that big black plastic pot. Just some extra peppers that I'm not really sure what they are. Some of them I thought I knew what they were, and I'm pretty sure I don't now that they're growing. But these last ones I showed you were all planted in the last 2 weeks. They really got a late start, and they were really in their small containers for a lot longer than they should have been. Of course, there's no peppers yet. The earliest most of these got planted, I think, was the last week of May, first week of June. But this little guy here, there is a pink tiger crossed with a black cobra, and there's another one that I can't tell you what it is right now. I know what it is. It's just going to be a secret till the end of the year, and we'll see if it turns out to be what it's supposed to be, and then we'll do a little reveal. But the person who gave it to me told me to keep it under wraps for right now, so that's what I'm trying to do. This pot is there's a Starbonero and a Jay's Pink. This one here, we have another one that I'm keeping under wraps for right now. Very anxious to try it at the end of the season, and we'll see how it turns out, and then hopefully by then I can share the name and what it is, the cross and everything. And then the other one in this pot is a Gravedigger. Over here we have an Eva avocado chocolate. Might give you a hint of who I got these from. And a Fattest Poison Tail. Moving on, these are all looking pretty healthy, even though I've been slacking on fertilizing and watering. I'm pretty pleased. It's not always the easiest thing for me to get out here. There's some days I can't even get my shoes on. But this is a Hypernova and a Peach Reaper times Scotch Bonnet. That should be an interesting one. This little pot here were some extra plants that really took off a lot faster than I thought they would, but these got planted later than the last ones I showed you. And here's a Freeport Orange Scotch Bonnet and a Kangstar Lemon Starburst. Then in this guy, we have a Marconi and a Peter Pepper. I wanted to keep the hots and the sweets separate, but It just didn't really work out that way. There's Romeo. He's growing just fine. He's about as fat as a raccoon right now. So this is a big gem and a Brazilian starfish orange. Again, just extras that I had. We had to break out some extra pots. I have 4 raised beds about 50 yards from the house up a little hill, and I'm just not able to get up there to take care of them right now. So everything is down here in pots, and everything got doubled up. Like, again, I would love to do 1 plant per pot and see how big they get. But even doubled up last year, they got pretty decent size. So this is a MOA Scotch bonnet and a yellow X, which the yellow X is, hopefully it's at least a yellow pepper, but it's one of the ones that got crossed or mixed up or something, because I got 2 different looking plants, and the couple little peppers that have started popping out on it both look entirely different. So that should be interesting. Hopefully it's something decent. Over here we have another yellow X and a chocolate warthog, which I'm very anxious to try. I love the red warthog. And I love chocolate peppers, but I hate chocolate peppers all at the same time. I just can't deal with the throat burn that a lot of chocolate peppers have. Moving on, we have another Peter pepper and what I thought was a Jamaican mushroom, but I'm pretty sure it's not, so we'll see what that is. Next here we have an Antep Acidoma and just your basic hot cherry pepper. Again, some extras that I had. This is an interesting one. It's a sunset pepper, which I believe was a cross between your standard bleeding red bubble gum and some type of yellow pepper, either a Scotch bonnet or a Scotch brain or yellow brain strain. I'm not sure, but I only had a few yellow peppers growing that year. And the first year, it bled red to yellow, top to bottom. It was a really cool looking pepper. Then next time I tried to grow it, it didn't do that at all, and I kind of just didn't bother with it again. But the seeds were getting old, which, by the way, a lot of these were grown because the seeds were getting old. I just wanted to see what sprouted, and that's that. But I thought I'd try to do it. I planted maybe a dozen seeds, and I got 1 plant. So I'm hoping maybe it turns out to be something interesting. Bouncing back over here, we have a long peach baccatum and a zabrange. Both of those, I think I tried the zabrange before. I tried to grow it, didn't work out so well, so I'm anxious for that. Here's a ahi confusion and a ahi Guyana. And then we have a Tasmanian chocolate tomato. Now we have to try to get up here on the deck without killing myself. We'll see how that works. And everything's just, there's a whole bunch of extra plants that are still in there. 2.5 and 3.5 inch pots. I just didn't have any space for them, and believe it or not, I mean, I can't even give them away. But this is a green tomato. I think it's just simply called a green frying tomato. It's supposed to be very meaty, good for frying. Got a little golden oregano and some other type of oregano I'm not sure about. This is a Silet's tomato, which is supposed to be one of the earliest producing tomatoes I have, but it's a little bit behind my Tasmanian chocolate, which is supposed to be 20 days or so behind this plant. So, yeah, it is what it is. This is a San Marzano. Actually getting a few little tomatoes there. And then we have another Tasmanian chocolate in this pot here, which is not doing quite as well as the one that's partially covered by the porch. This one gets a lot more sun. And again, I'm not keeping up on regular watering as much as I should, for sure. But they look healthy. I'm a little worried about some blossom end rot, but we'll see how that goes. Oh. And in the raised bed here, we have well, I lost my place here. There's a big gem. I believe this second one with the pepper on it is a Mamma Mia Rosso, which I didn't think the peppers were supposed to get quite that large on it, so maybe I have these two mixed up. After that is a Marconi, which I need to pick that pepper off of there. That plant's just, the plant's not even as big as the pepper's supposed to eventually be. Jimmy Nardello has a couple peppers on it. I should probably pick those as well, but we'll see. Lesia, red Lesia, very anxious to try that. And hiding behind the T-post there is Auxilio, which I'm also anxious to try. In our tomato jungle here, we have, not that you can differentiate between the plants. I need to string these up for extra support. I used tomato cages initially, knowing fair well that tomato cages don't work for tomatoes. They don't even work for my peppers most of the time. But I'm going to run some strings up to the top of the deck railing there and hopefully keep these guys supported, but they're okay for right now. But we have, starting on this end, we have a big brandy, which actually has a few tomatoes starting on it. Hidden behind that one is a Chef's Choice Purple. I'm anxious to try. A Striped Roma, a Beauty King, which I'm very anxious to try. I'm told it's similar to the pineapple tomato, and I've had that and really liked it. So, very anxious to try that. It's just starting to get a few small tomatoes on, but it'll be quite a while before they're full size. It's a fairly large tomato. And a Carib I've never tried before. It's supposed to be your little on the smaller side, average slicing tomato. And at the very end here, which I'm really surprised, this is one of the smaller plants. I thought this would be towering over everything, is a Pink Bumblebee cherry tomato. So, everything looks pretty healthy right now. I really gotta, especially coming into the warm weather here, I really have to make sure I keep up on watering and fertilizing and stuff. But right now, everything, I think, looks pretty good. They're probably, 6-ish, maybe a little over 6 feet tall, most of the tomatoes, some of the tomatoes that are in the bed. And these are pretty small beds here. They're like 6 foot by 2 foot or 3 foot or something like that. Moving on to this pot here, we have an Emerald Fire Jalapeno and a Yellow Pequeen. The next pot, we have Aji Amarillo and a Brazilian Starfish Orange. I used to have more pots down at this end here. I had 2 or 3 more. And I don't know if it's the slope or what, but they all seem to have issues. So I just moved a few up the other way and only left 2 down here. Plus, it's harder to water and keep track of everything down here. I actually have to walk out here to look at them, where most of the other stuff I can see from the porch. And lastly, over here, we're getting ready to have some people over for the 4th of July. And this is where the septic vent is. So I always put a cone over it so no one will run it over. But lastly here we have the Spagna and a Megatron jalapeno, which I'm very anxious to try. I've heard some people say they're nice and big and great, and other people say they're just kind of your average jalapeno. And the very last pot here is a Santa Fe hybrid and another Megatron jalapeno. So anxious to see how that works out. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching. Hopefully I will be able to do another update here in the near future.